to really quick. I'm just going to push. Okay, okay. I would love for you guys to share with me really quick some of your wins that you've had. You've obviously come to silver or senior silver in these 3 months, 5 months, 1 year. I know we have all different times that we've been here. Just share with me a win or something you feel like you've gotten strong in the ability of you for you to do as you're working the business. Are you good at sharing the products? Do you do kind of a sip and share? Are you able to invite people? Like, what are some of, are you great at social media? What are your wins or something you feel you're pretty strong in? I know everybody has one thing that they are a little bit strong in. I know we get shy and we don't like to kind of pat ourselves in the back, but I want you to take this time because I want to see where we have some strengths on here and then make sure that aligns with what we're sharing that you guys need support in. So if everybody will just share one thing. Yes, yes, you do have definitely have some things to be proud on. So just share one thing you're proud of. I know you're taking some time putting that in Messenger, and I'm just going to be opening up really quick one of my presentations so we can look through it. Okay. Okay. Now, I know if I asked you guys to share one thing you're struggling with, I would have this chat probably filled because we tend to focus on what we need help in instead of what we do well. Okay, so Holly, you're good at relating to women going through menopause. Amazing. And that is a huge industry right now that is very much untapped. I am in some perimenopause and menopause groups, and so many are so desperate for just having a little bit of relief there. Ashley's great at social media and in person talking. Amazing, Ashley. Let's see who else. We have Holly, Jenna, Tracy, Mary. Good, Mary. Listening to Alicia, relating to people with diabetes. Amazing. Remember, take what you've struggled, your testimony. I mean, your struggle, right? Your test is always your testimony. So the different reasons that you started to do Plexus is going to be the initial thing that you relate to people with. It's going to be the initial thing that you want to get a little bit vulnerable with when you're sharing. So make sure that you're really focusing on that. Let's see, Jenna, Alicia's saying you're amazing at organically talking to people in person. That's a great gift too. Jenna, she's shouting you out there. Let's see, who else are we missing? I want everybody to share what did everybody share one thing? Let's see. Tracy. I see Tracy's little face there. She's like not wanting to do it. Tracy, tell us one thing you're so good at. I know that there's something. I can already tell by your smile and your glow. You've got some great things there. Oh, she's typing. Okay. Okay, Tracy. As Tracy's typing there, I would love for you guys to also share what's one thing that you feel you need some support at that Alicia and myself, because I can, we can work kind of together too. I know she's working with Jason as well, to help make sure we have some of these things in place to help, train or support you in as well. I know she works with Alita, her upline as well too. So if you would just share a few things. There's Tracy talking with people in person. Amazing. So courage at follow up. Good job, Mary. Who else? What other things do you all struggle with that you feel you could use some support in? Let's see. So follow up is one of the things that Mary said. Looking to see anybody else that is struggling with things that we could help support as you are working your business. Messaging. Okay. Good job, Ashley. Okay, let's see. I know we were waiting for Holly, Tracy, and Jenna. And Ashley, you mean like messaging people like on Facebook and stuff and text messaging people about Plexus? You can unmute if you need to. Knowing what to say when sending messages. Okay, Tracy, that's a good one too. Talking about the business opportunity to customers. Okay, Ashley, yes, like out of the blue, starting conversations. Okay, I'm still newish, so I'm trying to learn about which regimens are best for people. Yes. Okay, Jenna, exactly. Triplex does seem to be the focus, and I would say that is usually your primary focus that you're going to focus on. So what we're going to talk about today with customer commitment level, I think is going to touch at least on some of these things. I know the messaging part of it, it's not because we're not really dealing too much with messaging, but at the end, I'll give you some tips as far as some of the messaging And so much of this has to do with really warming your network. And I know you guys know that, and ensuring that as much, and I guess I could say this straight off the bat, but as much as you want to cold call somebody, I would wait and at least send one initial message that just says, "Hey, just thinking of you," to a few people. And then the following week, then you can kind of proceed with some of the messaging. Because sometimes when it feels uncomfortable to message, it's because we have not had any type of relation or connection with somebody. And so it feels a bit awkward. So I think when it feels awkward, that's telling us that we need to warm up that connection just a little bit. We need to kind of comment and post on their things. We need to send a message just saying, "Hey, just checking in on you, seeing how you're doing. It looked like you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you and your family are doing well." As soon as you make that connection and you start to interact with them a little bit on Facebook, I promise in the next week or two, it makes the conversation a little bit easier to do because you've warmed that up just a little bit. So I do want to kind of say that a little bit before we go into messaging. So I'm going to go ahead and just start on, I'm going to share my screen so we can start talking about this and some of the business growth. And I don't know how many of you guys watched. I know that you saw your beautiful mentor up on stage at Super Saturday, but if you were there, you also saw a little bit about what Sheila Medina said, which was the power of three. Okay. Every single one of you is a silver, yes, or at least a silver. Yes. Okay. So you guys have all, sometimes I talk to people that are gold and they're like, "I don't know how to have people build the business. I don't know how to support them." And I'm like, "Really, you got to silver. That's all we need to have them do is to start sharing enough to get to silver," which is really just sharing with three people. They don't even need to have social media at that point to get to silver, really. If they're having enough one-on-one connections and talking and excited about the product, that's going to be something that naturally happens. So when you're thinking about having this consistent growth, something that Sheila said that was really as simple as it is, I think that's why it was so mind-blowing because it was such a good focus is like, "Hey, let's just focus on hitting silver every month. Let's focus on sharing with three people every month. And let's focus then once we do that on helping one person also hit silver." And if we do that consistently, we are hitting silver every month. We're helping one person hit silver every month, and then they start to do the same thing. That replication becomes pretty big, pretty quickly, where those points come. But it's so simple and just focusing on the power of three, the focusing on hitting silver and helping your team hit silver. And so it would look something like this. Okay, and this is if you're trying to hit like 50 points and you're hitting 50 points quick. And I put this because most of the people are needing to jump up by 50 points to get to that gold position, or they're just right there. It's really on, okay, let me see if I can get six people on my front line and then I can help one of those hit silver. That's if you're going to push it a little bit more in one of the months coming up that you need to. And usually when we break down points, we talk about how many conversations, intentional conversations, do you need to be having with people? And so I use this example just as an easy example to show you. If you were working towards this and we had done this with having only a few days in the month, what you do is you take the number of people that you're wanting to talk to and you multiply that by 10. Okay, so let's just say coming into February, you guys were all trying to reach this goal of 50 points a month. Okay, this month. Let's just say that that was the goal you were putting out there, 50 points a month. Ignore this because we were using this last week and people were trying to reach this in a week frame. Now you guys have a whole month to hit this, okay? So what you're doing is you're looking and you're saying, "Okay, if I have six people and 10% of people want more of whatever I'm having to offer them, that means that I need to talk to 60 people to equal six enrollments, approximately, give or take, just using kind of what the natural math tends to be." So if you think of 60 people, and then in most months you have 30 days. I know here we're in February, so we have a little bit less. But even if you take off weekends and you say, "You know what, I'm going to go a little bit of beyond, and I might take off weekends. So I'm going to have two genuine conversations a day with people." This is not planting seeds. This is besides your planting seeds, but you're having two genuine conversations that are about Plexus or plugging them into a Plexus event or a Plexus, something that your team is having, that's going to equate to the six people. And then I would just encourage your person that's going for three as well to kind of do the same. I think two is a great number to have that consistency of three people, maybe a little bit more joining your team. If you're like, I'm going to work on two genuine reach outs a day. And now what you're doing with those reach outs, and I want you to think about those reach outs, is making them really simple. And someone asked me, what is the messaging like? So I want you to think of this instead of, because sometimes when we're going to message somebody, we feel like we have to tell them everything about the product, about the ingredients, about everything they're using. And that other person is like, whoa, this is a lot. Like, now I need to think about this. Now I need to process it. Now I need to see if this is right for me. Now you've mentioned the business. Now this is a little bit, whoa, this is much more than I maybe expected it to be. And sometimes there's some pushback there. So I want you to think about once a month, is there something you can plug people into? Is there a reset challenge? Is there a sip and share? Is there a group challenge that Alita or Alicia or your upline's having? And if not, could you create a little group coaching that you're going to do for free for at that week or whatever to plug people into? So then that way the conversation is really about the symptom. Remember, we talked about the symptom. So let's say I was talking to Tracy and Tracy's struggling with energy. I could be like, hey, Tracy, I see like you're a mom, you're up and down every day, you have grandkids, you have regular kids, like you're just everywhere. I'm sure that you're struggling with energy because I am too. I'm trying to gather this free coaching group this week, talking about energy, some tips, and really plugging into how the gut affects all of that. I'd love for you to join, the group that I'm hosting. So again, if you have a reset challenge, same verbiage a little bit, but you're plugging them into the challenge that you're having. That way, you're not giving them too much information. You're really focusing on the symptom. You're telling them you really feel that you can help them find relief or you can help their symptom. And you love to invite them to a group that's going to have that support and that information for it. Now, the group itself is the closing. The group is where they're going to see the community, they're going to learn about the products, and they're going to have a stronger mindset about what that has to offer. But you don't have to kind of tell them everything. So when you're doing these genuine connections, I want you to make sure that you guys are thinking, does my team or upline have something that I can plug people into once a month or twice a month? And if they don't, then can I create something? Can I do a coaching call once a week and just start plugging people in and then encourage my VIPs to also share it and get plugged in that week? And I can talk to them a little bit about gut health. I can invite Alicia in, I can invite Alita in if I need to, and we can talk with these group of people that are interested in what I've reached out to them and whatever that symptom struggle that they might have, and really helping them understand how gut health impacts that and how you're going to help support them and support them through what they might be struggling through. So really think about your reach outs and your connections being a very simple, focused conversation that's dealing with the symptom, letting them know that you have something that you really think can help bring them relief, and then plugging them into the event. That's really what that connection should be so that it's not over the top for them. It's not too much. And again, I would say every single one of you make the goal of at least, I'm saying at least, two genuine reach outs a day. Now, I know you might have IPAs, and on those IPAs, you might have 3 to 5 reach outs. That's amazing. Stick with that. I know some days it's like we get a little fire and we get excited and we're like, okay, I reached out to 20 people today. Amazing. What I would say is that there comes those days where you're tired or you're not feeling the best and you don't really feel like doing the business. Even on those low days, at least do 2 reach outs, at least. So this is not the most, this is kind of at the least, and consistency is the most important thing. So if you're doing 20 reach outs one day and then the next day you don't do any, and then the next day you don't do any, and then the next day, that becomes a habit that's easy to fall into too. So it's really important that even on your lowest days, the least that you can't do, the days you feel like doing nothing, you at least made 2 connections, 2 genuine connections to kind of keep that consistency of your business. Because when it comes down to it, this business is all about sharing. So if you can share and you can make the connections, then you can do all the other ideas that so many leaders and people share with you. But if you are not making the connections, there's nothing else you can do. There, you can't really invite them into things. You can't really have fun team groups or anything if you have not made the actual connection yet. So make sure that you're always focused on the connection. Okay. So I talked to you about a customer system. This is where I was saying it's to me, it's so vital that we really get a customer's commitment right from the get-go and that we let them, we're setting them up for success and we're helping with the retention so that we can get customers that stay on longer. Okay. So this is what this looks like. This means I've already, let's say I've connected with Jenna. I see Jenna here. So I'm gonna say, let's say me and Jenna have connected. Let's go back to energy. She's talked to me about energy. That's the reason we're thinking and using talking about the triplex. And so first, I've connected her with the products. I don't know if it was Jenna or somebody else that asked about learning all the other products. I think it is so important to learn all the products and what they can do, but know that 80 probably to 90% of the clinical research we have of the products where people continue to be on subscriptions and seeing benefits from is the triplex. It's our tried and true product. It gives you over that 100 PV mark. But more than anything, it's what really works for the gut. And we know when their gut health is optimal, it's going to impact so many symptoms people have, right? From sleep to moodiness and stress to weight loss to energy. I mean, there's just such a wide range. I mean, it's endless the amount of one-on-ones I've had where they've mentioned, how it's helped them. It's helped for their plantar fasciitis. I heard the other day. It's helped with RA from somebody I heard. I mean, there is just so many different ways that this product has helped people. So you always want to focus on that. If you don't know where to focus on, that's where you focus on first. And I like to say you start with the first option, which I always say is the Reset Triplex combo. And the reason I say just go for it as your first option, because you can also bring them a little bit of value. Because if they purchase the combo, they're getting the reset for half off. So you can say, hey, is this one-time thing? Is you coming on? Let's get you started with our reset. A 3-day fast is so vital to getting your body reset and going strong. And then we can get you onto the triplex. This is not what you're going to pay every month. It's what you're paying this first month as we get you on this combo. And you're getting an extra value that I can get you this reset at half off. So that's why I like to start with it because you're able to offer them a little bit of value. If they're like, oh, that's a bit, expensive for me. Okay, let's just go on the triplex. Or some people also, I didn't mean to put one product there, so ignore what that says right there. But some people also, they're a little bit leery of doing fast. They might not want to do a fast. So then you can say, okay, let's just do the triplex because that's going to get your gut health in check. If they're still hesitant, then I would really encourage that you still say, okay, we're going to still get you on some coaching calls to help work on your lifestyle, and let's get you on just one product. And I would focus on the ProBio, even though I love Active. Active would be a great product to hydrate because all of those you really feel, if it's sleep, the gummies, all of those are great products. The reason I say ProBio is because many people don't take probiotics. And it's a great introductory product, which allows us to then upgrade to a triplex combo once if they're like, oh, I feel a little bit something, but I'm still not feeling my optimal, then we can say, you know what, I think it might be time for you to take the whole gut health system. You're taking just one part of that. So, but I say always still offer that one product at least because you'd rather have them come in and try one thing and start with one thing than just do nothing. And then you can potentially have them to start upgrading. So first step, we connect them with the product. The next thing is you bring up value to try to set them up for success. And this step is really going to help you with your retention. So after Jenna and I have talked about the triplex, I'm going to say, okay, Jenna, I'd love to get you really quick on a quick call because I want to be able to support you as your gut and wellness coach so that you're set up for success through this. And if you can get on a Zoom, that's the best thing. Because if you think about if we were to do virtual meetings with doctors or even nutritionists or health coaches, usually you do see somebody on Zoom. But if someone's not wanting to go on Zoom, then you can do a phone call. You can even do voice memo if that works better for the person. But we're going to talk through 4 things you want to talk to them during this quick, kind of Zoom or a touch point with them. The first thing is you want to determine their customer commitment and you want to work through roadblocks. So what I love here is I want to say, and I don't think I added this on there, but what you want to say is share with me, Jenna, I know you've been struggling with energy. Share with me and add this part from a scale of 1 to 10. That's a big piece. From a scale of 1 to 10, How committed are you to seeing your energy improve? How committed are you to be, to play with your kids better, feel like you have more energy there, feel like you have more energy in work? You know their life and the reason that they're coming to you. So you want to get their commitment level from a 1 to 10. If they say anything less than a 10, then you know there's some roadblocks there, and that's going to be the reason they stop the product before they even start it. Because they're not at a 10 and they're telling you that they want to work on this symptom, but yet they're not fully committed. So I want to say, okay, Jenna, you shared with me this is important to you. Why aren't you at a 10? Why are you at an 8 or why are you at a 7? So Jenna might have different reasons that I'm going to have kind of work through with her, but the two most common we see is one, they're not consistent at taking products. Like, I just think I'm going to start and I'm not going to stay consistent with it. So I'm going to relate to them. You always want to relate to whatever their struggle is first and then help them with the solution of it. So it's like, okay, Jenna, I've struggled with that too. But when your products come, we're going to do an unboxing together. We're going to get your phone out, set your alarms for the 3 times that are best for you to take the products. We're going to place your products wherever you think is most easiest for you to take them, by your bedside, at the kitchen, bathroom, wherever it is during the times you want to take that. If it's putting some of the sticks in your purse, we're going to do that. So we're going to set you up for success. And I usually like to tell them the first 2 weeks, I'm going to send you a little message, just a quick reminder of, hey, it's Robyn. Just want to make sure that you're taking the products. Just a reminder to take your products. And just really quick, I'm going to stop sharing just so you can see, because a lot of people on my call, oh, my phone just died, but I don't know if anybody has an iPhone, but I don't know if you knew that you can schedule messages. So, Alicia, like, yes. Okay. So, Lisa, let me pin you.
Tell me more.
Okay. So, I'm going to pin you. Okay. Show your phone. And then let's just see there's somebody. Go to a text message from somebody that also has an iPhone, but somebody told me too with Androids it works too.
Okay, I'm gonna do it in Nicole
Okay.
because I told her to get on here. She's like, please tell me this is recorded.
Okay. So, you're going to hit the plus, like if you're going to send her a message.
Okay.
And then you should see some options there. Scroll. Do you see that says send later?
Shut up.
Yeah, you click
It's right
that.
under music on mine.
Okay, yeah. So click that and then show everybody. And it shows you all, you can scroll. Yeah, you can scroll on the day and time that you want
God,
to
what is
send
that?
the messages at. So you can,
Robyn.
yeah, so you can schedule, like as soon as I'm talking about, I was talking to Jenna, I could schedule, hey girl, it's me, just checking in that make sure you're taking your products today. And then I can schedule that. I can schedule the next day one, like, hey, it's me again. I want to just make sure, how are you feeling on the products? So you can schedule straight that one day, all the 2 weeks of calls for that one person. So you don't have to worry about it. And then the 2 weeks of check-ins are going, because these are going to just be simple check-ins, just trying to remind them to take the product. Okay. So yes, I didn't realize that most people didn't know that. When I shared it on the last call, they were like, what? My son showed it to me. Of course, they always know more about electronics than
Girl,
us.
I
So,
just now realized this was a button. I didn't know that was a button even. It takes you right to your camera. I didn't even know that. I learned that at Super
yes.
Celebrity actually.
So you can schedule 2 weeks out if you want to, as reminders, as just quick little reminders right when you're there, like that day with the person, so that they're going to get some reminders from you pretty regularly. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this. So I like to do a 2 week kind of touch point, especially if their struggle is with consistency, and that way you can say, okay, I'm going to be there to support you through that. The other thing, of course, is money. Now, I don't like to mention the business aspect of it until about 2 weeks when they're taking the product, because the majority of people will start the Plexus business after about 3 months. And that's because they know the product works and now they're ready to share it. Now, it's still great to have some little teaser, and I'll show you how I like to mention sharing and doing the business. So it's great to still offer it to them. But I usually won't do that until maybe I've gotten them at least a week on the product and they're set on the product. The only time I'll do it is if right here they mention that one of their roadblocks is financially. Like if they say, I just don't think I can keep up with the price of the product. I can do it right now, but I don't think if I can do it long term. Then I want to say, I don't know how many of you guys were on the Eric Worre call, but the one line I love is where he says, if I would you, so that I do like to use. Okay. All right, Jenna, if I would help you write up a post, we can just talk about how excited you are to try these products and the hope that you're hoping to find through these products. Would you be willing to share that so that we can see if we can get a support system set up for you? And then we can get those people signed up with you, and that can offset some of your commission. I'm not going to tell her, then you can do the business and then you can earn this and that quite yet. I don't want to scare her off. She's just saying she can't afford the products. So I'm trying to say, okay, let's work through this roadblock. Can we do this to help you start offsetting some of the commission of the products? Okay. So I will introduce it here at this point if the roadblock is money and financially. Okay. The next thing is I want to validate their purchase. That's a second step. So once Jenna's like, okay, Robyn, like I'm at a 10. I feel ready to do this. I want to say, Jenna, I am so proud of you for deciding to take care of yourself. You are going to be a better mom, a better wife, a better coworker, because we can't pour out of an empty cup. So I'm so proud of you. And you're really going to not only help yourself, but help those around you. Why am I doing that? Because as a mom and a wife, I know if I have spent over $100 on a product, I am going to have some buyer's remorse probably the minute I get off that phone call. Potentially before the product comes in, I am going to think my family could have used this, my husband needed this. Why am I spending the money on myself? Is this really something I should have done? So right away, you validate them. So you kind of quiet that noise and they don't feel like it's selfish. They understand that pouring into themselves is also going to help those around them. So I always love that step of validation. So it kind of quiets the noise that they might have and some of that self-guilt they might have for the purchase. Then the next part is I give them the mini goal. And this is where you add that extra value. All right, Jenna. So as your health and wellness coach, I want to start you off with a mini goal. We're going to start on this today or tomorrow, depending if you're talking to them in the nighttime, then it might be the morning. But we're going to start with this while we're waiting on the products. And when the products come, we're going to continue to do this while we're taking our products. Now, mini goal is something that's really easy. It's not like go run a mile. It's going to be simple things. So it could be let's increase your water intake. Let's do one extra glass of water a day. That's all we're going to do, one extra glass of water. Maybe if they drink a lot of coffee, soda, energy drinks, it can be like let's replace one for one of these. That could be one of them. Another mini goal could be 15 minutes of movement, not strenuous exercise, but like stretching, walking, just 15 minutes of movement a day. Let's just say you notice they're on Facebook late. It could be like, hey, let's work on your sleep cycle. Like, what's your ideal time to go to sleep? Let's work on going to sleep 15 minutes earlier a day. So that might be it. Let's talk about your sleep environment and putting the phone away 30 minutes before you go to bed. That might be one. Let's say it's mood and stress they're struggling with. It might be 15 minutes of meditation. And if they're a prayerful person, then it might be let's do 15 minutes of prayer and put that into your daily routine. It could even be just stepping out and getting AM and PM sunlight, which is going to help their sleep cycle and their vitamin D. So those are mini goals that you're going to be working with them. And there's two reasons I love to do it. One, it makes their mindset shift right away to doing something, to action. And when their mindset is on action and they're already starting to increase the water or they're starting to move 15 minutes of movement a day, when those products come in, they're not going to make an excuse to push it off because they're already in that mindset of I'm working on myself. Now this is just an addition to it. And you want to make sure to tell them, hey, if your products come in and you have, I don't know, a party that you're going to, eat at and stuff, please don't push the products off. Like still take it. This is part of the process. We'll take it and you're going to be fine and we're going to continue taking it. You don't want to have them give you any excuse to continue pushing it off. So you give them, that's one of the reasons I like the mini goal is it gets them into action. The second reason is that it is a reason of why you do follow up with them each month without having to lead with the products. So I can say in month 2, I can say, hey, Jenna, so tell me, how was your water intake? Like, how did we do? All right, girl, we're going to work on, increasing that to one extra glass, or I could give her a different mini goal. Okay, this month we're going to work on 15 minutes of movement. Okay, we're going to keep on doing the water, but we're going to add 15 minutes of movement. And now share with me how you're feeling on the products. And then, I can talk with her through the products. I can upgrade things or add things if I'm wanting to, but I don't need to lead with the products. And that's why I love the mini goal because it's kind of like you're bringing extra value and you can lead with that. And then you can talk about the products too. And then the last part is what gets people really thinking about this being long term, and it's educating them on cellular regeneration. So I'm going to say, okay, Jenna, we got you taking the products. We worked on your mini goal. Now, I just want to let you know what this process is going to look like. So, cellular regeneration takes 100 days. That's important for you to know because it's going to take 100 days for your cells to regenerate on this product. That means the first 3 months, your body's just adjusting to the product. So you could experience some detox. Make sure you reach out to me so we could work through that. Or you'll experience maybe some changes, but the magic is going to happen in 4 to 6 months once we've allowed ourselves to regenerate. I want to really make sure I can get you committed to those 100 days because I don't want you throwing away. Again, you give them the value. I don't want you throwing away the over the $100 you've invested or more that you keep investing each month without allowing your cells to regenerate on this and to see the true value of the product. Okay, so one, it's science-based. It gives you a little bit more validity. And two, now they're like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to doing it for 100 days, which gives you the ability to have them on the product for at least 3 months. And I'm telling you, I've done so many one-on-ones where people became brand ambassadors because they stopped at around the 4 to 6 month time frame and they felt the difference. They were like, oh my God, I feel awful now not being on these products and I need the products. That's going to be much different than if they stop the product after a month. They might feel a little bit of difference, but they're not going to feel the significance as they would have if their cells regenerated on it. And then again, it allows them to really see the success of what the product can do for them. And it gives you a stronger baseline to work with because now everyone that's coming in, it's like, okay, they're going to be set up with me for about 3 months. And I have a strong baseline to work on for growth each month too. Okay, now this is where the little extra thing that I mentioned that I like to talk about that does is different than go share the business or let's build a business. What I want you to think about is that we want to think, what is the path of least resistance? Now, if I go and I tell Jenna, this could be a great business, you could do amazing at this. Business is a strong commitment. It just is. Whether you think it is or not, it is for some people. Building a business is like, oh my gosh, that's a big commitment. I could let people down. I'm going to have to reach out to people. Do I have the time? I'm working full time. It just raises flags like this is a big commitment level. Even if I say, hey, can you share this? Can you refer this? Can you share with 3 people? Unless I'm writing out the post for them, it's still going to take time. It's not that I wouldn't want to share it for somebody, but it's going to take time for me to do that. And so I may not get around to it. So what I like to tell people is, okay, this can happen a week in, and then you can touch base again at a month in. I'll show you kind of in the next slide where I like to position these. But I'm going to say, okay, Jenna, we've gotten you on the products. You've been doing the products. How are you feeling? Whatever, as we have our conversation, we do our follow up, then I'm going to say, okay, Jenna, my job as your gut health coach, your wellness coach, is to have you set up for success. 80 to 90% of the people will stick with this goal of working on their energy or working on their weight or working on their sleep, whatever the reason they're coming to you with, when they have a support system, when they have other people working with them. So now I want to help you get your support system set up. Who, in your life do you think struggles with this that could also use the help? Who do you think you'd love to be a part of your accountability group and your support system? I want to help us build that for you. And then you can say, I'm going to do a free group coaching with this group for you guys to help educate them on gut health too, and to get them going on the same mini goal that we're working on and the same lifestyle goal we're working on as I educate them on the products and gut health too. So now we're positioning it as, hey, I'm bringing value to you. I'm going to set your support system up. But really, what you're doing is the same thing as you would have said. who are three people you know that needs this that you want to share with. You're really doing the exact same thing, but you're just wording it different. You're saying, okay, this is my job now as your gut health coach. You are going to be more successful if you have a support system. So let's work on getting that support system set up. And I'm going to do some free coaching for your group to make sure that you have that support system set up and that they're also being successful as you guys all work together on this goal. So does that make sense a little bit? So again, this is just saying you're reaching out to accountability partners. You help them share a post. You can either help them share a testimony if they've gotten to the point where they've seen some results, or you help them share a hope post. And I call it a hope post because it's one of those posts where hey, my friend Ashley told me about this product. I haven't been even able to wake up, in the morning, even when I have a whole night of sleep. I just feel exhausted. I want more energy to play with my kids. I'm feeling some hope and excitement to see how this might work for me. Who else is struggling with this? I'd love to do this with some other people too. So that's kind of what a hope post is like. It's like a post of hope that they're looking for. They haven't tried the product, but they're hopeful in what it can do and that they're asking and inviting other people to be part of their support system. And so their post will either be testimony post or hope post, depending on when they're getting their support system set up, whether it's once they have results or before they've even started the product. So does that make sense kind of on the customer support system and what that entails? Yes. Does anybody have anything that any questions on that? Or are you guys doing that? Or are you seeing now, okay, maybe if I tweak things a little bit, that could help with some of the retention and keeping people on a bit. I think sometimes we forget about the parts of us that bring value that we maybe don't put a price to, but they're very valuable and they do add a price. And that's like the coaching part of it. That's really the support part of it. That's what they're getting from you that they don't get at any store that they purchase a product from. So we really need to hone into that and really show them this is why you're coming with me. This is what I have to offer you. Okay. Any questions at all? No? Okay. Okay, so the one last little thing I wanted to go through with you guys is what this system kind of looks like as far as time-wise. So let me get through this. Okay, so this is what I just kind of put this together a little bit of what I think if you had everybody has different customer support systems. So this is also what I want to say, guys. I never want to step on toes. If uplines and people have given you support systems and follow-up systems you're following and they're working, please do them. Please don't like ditch that and say, okay, Robyn said to do this, I'm going to do this. You do what works for you. But I know many people don't have any support system as far as an idea of when to follow up. So I just kind of wanted to share what I think would be good at doing a follow-up system. So on month one, we talked as Jenna's my customer. Again, I said using your phone, you're going to schedule things those first 2 weeks of just like, hey, just checking on you, seeing how you're feeling. And at week two, at the end of week two, that's when you can have that first discussion of, I would love to set up your support system for you. If they're hesitant about it, then that's fine. Respect that. Do a touch point with them at the end of the third week just to check on them. You don't have to do daily anymore. You're just checking on them on the third week. When we come to months 2 and 3, I like to do two check-ins, week 1 and week 3, where again, these are just one check-ins each, where we're checking on them. The first week of the month, we want to set up their next mini goal. So again, we're leading with the value. Of course, we're going to check with how they're feeling on the product. We could potentially offer other products to them at that time, but we're leading with the mini goal, seeing how they're feeling on the product, reminding them about cellular regeneration if they're saying they're not feeling that good or they don't notice such big shifts or changes yet. We want to empathize with them and then say, hey, no worries, this is normal. Remember what we talked about. Cellular regeneration takes 100 days. So right now your body's just getting used to that. Here you can do your second request if they didn't want their support system set up there. You can say, hey, remember we talked about a support system. How do you feel about setting up your support system now and us getting some people on a call to help, support you in this? They say no, okay, respect that. Week 3, you're just going to follow up with their mini goal again on and how they're doing on the product. That's just a quick touch point, just checking on you, how you're feeling on the product and how you're doing with your 15 minutes of movement. Have you been keeping up with that? Month three, sorry, it's the same. Sorry, guys, I went backwards. Month three, same thing. First week, either expanding the mini goal or doing a new mini goal and then checking again how they feel on the product. It's a new month. So again, offer the support system. Again, you ready to set up your support system? Again, if they say no, it's fine. This should say week three instead of week two. On week three, again, just quick follow up on the mini goal and how they're doing on the product. And then once you get to month four, I think it just goes to once a month. So again, month one, it's your 2 weeks where you're pretty, especially for the ones, and it doesn't have to be for everybody, but especially for the ones that say they struggle with consistency, because then you want to make sure you're that touch point to stay consistent. And then you're checking up with them on the end of the week three. Months two and three, twice a month, and then four and on once a month. So every time you check up with them once a month, you're checking on a new mini goal or expanding a goal they're working on, checking how they're feeling on the product, potentially offering different upgrades. Now, at month four, it's going to be a little bit different now, right? Because they don't need a support system. If they've said no the first 3 months, they could be pretty good now in filling on the product. And if they say, hey, I'm feeling good on the product or whatever, this is when you want to ask them, hey, would you mind doing me a favor? If we work on a post to share, could you do that and tag me in it? And make sure if you do that, that maybe you give something of value. So you can say, this month I'm having a raffle for all my customers that post for me and refer me. I'm going to put them in a raffle for, it could be a little self-care basket you make or something like that. So at this point, you can say, share your testimony. I can help you with it a bit. And if you'll just tag me in it, you'll be in that raffle. Or you might say, would you be willing to do a sip and share for me and host something for me? I'll give you a little hostess basket and we can do a sip and share and tell your people a little bit about the product and see how they're feeling. Make your sip and shares fun. You've seen so many different ideas for that. Month four is when you really want to focus on either referral or a sip and share with that person to see if you can kind of get into their network a bit. But what your main goal is, as you work with them on posts, especially, is to show them how easy it is to share and get people commenting. Because once you get people commenting on a post, or they do a referral, or they do a sip and share, or you create a support system, and they see that 5 people want to do this with them, then it's really easy to be like, okay, Jenna, you have 5 people. And, I am willing, more than willing to help support them and be their gut health coach. But by you purchasing and being a VIP customer, you also have the ability to do that. And I will partner with you. So you won't be alone doing this. I'll partner with you and we can have them start, checking out under you and using your link, and you can start working on offsetting the cost of products or even potentially growing more in this business. So that's when you can really start showing and sharing with them about the business as you get their support systems set up or you get their referrals and sip and shares done. So that was just kind of a quick customer follow-up system that I put together. You might have your own, like I said, it's fine. I was just kind of trying to put everything together on when those touch points for setting up a support system works the best. And again, it happens immediately, but you keep kind of talking to that point of, let me help you with your support system so that you are set up for success. That's really the reason that you're leading with them on that. Okay. So I know it's already 8 o'clock. I'm sorry. I know I've been talking for so long and I don't want to keep talking, but so I'm going to let you guys, if you guys want to ask me, I just wanted to go through those two main things because I think that as silvers, we've talked about what are the main skills that people should have in silver and senior silvers going into the gold. And those main things are, one, consistency in their work habits. So if you have IPAs, being consistent in your IPAs. And what I want to say with IPAs too, guys, is it's okay to make them your own. I've been meeting with some golds who, their IPAs say post 3 times a day, which may work for a lot of people. But for some of people, they're like, whoa, 3 times are a lot for me. And they get discouraged and then they don't even do their IPA. It's like they couldn't check it off, so they didn't want to do it. And I tell them, no, like don't do that. It's okay to change it for you. If for you, one post a day is what makes sense, then do your one post. The importance is consistency in your IPAs. So take your IPAs, follow them to your best of your ability. But if you're seeing that there's a struggle in some of those things and you're not able to keep up with it, I don't want you to feel defeated to where you stop doing your IPAs. I think everybody would prefer for you to to fix them a bit to where it's something that you can do consistently, because consistency is really the most important thing at this level. The second thing is sharing and knowing how to share. Make sure that you're sharing authentically. And if you feel that you've tapped out of your groups or your network, let's say you feel like everybody on Facebook I know has already heard this from me. Think about who, again, the first question I said, who are you outside of Plexus? Are you a stay-at-home mom? Do you love reading books? Is your faith important? Join one of those groups that relates to you and look and see who are the people commenting in the group, because those are the people that really value social groups. They value community, and they're going to value potentially being a part of this community, if they do find an interest in Plexus. So with those people, you start to comment and like on their stuff. You start to interact with them to where you can send them a friend request, and then they can see your news feed. You're not going to post about Plexus in these new groups you're joining, and you're not going to even message people yet about Plexus. You're going to build a relationship with them so that you can friend request them so that they can see what you're posting on your news feed. So start looking at that as you're thinking, okay, I'm doing two intentional reach outs. If you feel like you might be tapped out with the people you've already been reaching out to or in your network, it might be time to join some new groups that you have some commonalities with and begin interacting with people in there so you can send friend requests and you have new eyes on your things. But sharing and the consistency of sharing is a big one too. And then again, everything we went through right here is just really having a strong customer commitment level. So you're just focused on getting the customer connected with the product, step one, bringing extra value by giving them their mini goal and doing the 4 steps, educating them, letting them know that they're validated and it's okay to take care of themselves. And then the final step is setting up their support system. And then you're just going to rinse and repeat. Do that with the next person and teach your person to do that. And those are really the same steps you're going to be working on, because that's really what helps growth, is sharing and then setting up the support system. So instead of let me see how many people I can get to do the business, I want you to think of everybody that comes in. My goal is to help get a support system set up for them, because that's going to lead to them working the business. Okay. So let me see now any questions we have. Okay, if you had one post to give someone's office, what would it be? So Alicia, let me see really quick. How do you suggest keeping up with all the different people on my list that I talked to? Um, I would do a spreadsheet, Holly. I mean, you can do a notebook, but I know that can get a bit overwhelming. So I used to use like Excel, and I would kind of put Excel on there, and I would put their names, and then maybe have a date of when you touch point with them so that you know, okay, it's time to now touch point with the next one. Um, I do think that that works a bit better. You can always do two. I know it somewhat costs, but I think it's project broadcast too that allows you to kind of import people's numbers. And so you can, it looks like it's individual text, but you can text a whole group the same text, especially if they're all getting started at that same month or they're all having the same mini goal that month, where it allows you to text multiple people. Again, now that you know that you can schedule things on your phone, you can do a few scheduling like that too. But to keep up, I definitely would say maybe an Excel doc might work. Does anybody else have anything that works well for them? I know some people are paper girls. I know I was too. So sometimes writing a paper just does work better for some. But does anybody have a system that works good for them to keep up with their customers as far as follow up?
No, and I actually had this conversation with Jason the other day on my gold call. I was just checking my email to see if I got it. I think he forgot to send it to me, but he said he has a spreadsheet that has been working. And you guys, Erica, gosh, I don't even know how to say Erica's last name, but Dee Dee's girl who just went senior gold, she just sent me like the dopest spreadsheet ever. It's just one you would have to use, but if you use it, it's so good. Like she showed me how she highlights to keep up when people are on like week 2 or when she has talked to them. And like she highlights a certain way to know like they're in the next step. And she was like, honestly, it was a little bit of a pain to use at first, but now that I know my system, she's able to just like boom, 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 do it. So literally I got that from her yesterday.
Okay. And I think Maddie Clark, I want to say. She's an icon that just promoted up to gold too. I know we had a one-on-one. I might ask her. She also had, and if she, I'm almost sure that's who it was. If it was her and she's able to send it to me and okay with it, I'll send it to Lisa too. But she had a spreadsheet too where it's like month one, month two, and she kind of checks it off too. Same thing, but most of the ones I've noticed do have some kind of spreadsheet. And if you are using the same kind of follow-up system that I had shared on here, where you're doing this, you could have, month one, or you can have week one, week two. Well, or you can have week one and two and check that off if you're just doing the text really quick. So you schedule your text and you check that off when you're done. And then you can have week three and checked it off. And then, month two, where you have your two touch points. And then month three, your two touch points. And then after that, it's just a once a month kind of touch point. You could kind of make a spreadsheet that has that. And then you just kind of write their names down and check off whether you've kind of done that for each person too. But I do think an Excel system tends to work the best for people or some kind of worksheet. Yes, the check marks. So Lisa, if I would have one post to give someone to start off with, you're talking about like a person that's going to post for you or them themselves posting.
Either one. I think sometimes like that's the thing we do teach, like, you show, you don't just tell, but then you get the hang up of, oh my gosh, what am I gonna post? What's best, what's not too salesy, what doesn't scream ML, you just start overthinking stuff so
Yeah.
much. And I'd say you've probably done a lot of them being at the top of a company. So what would like your
Well,
instinct be to, if you're like,
so
girl, this is a great post?
for the hope post that I say, I always love to have it lead with like if it's not coming from that person. So that's why, for example, if I was posting something and I was working with Holly, let's say, and she was going to have me post something for my network, my post would probably be something like my friend Holly has started telling me about this product that's really worked with energy. But before that, I would probably lead with have you felt so tired that you can't, get up in the mornings? Have you like have them describe the symptoms they feel first? So it starts with kind of a description of their symptoms. Then my friend Holly just introduced me to this product. I cannot wait to get started with it. I feel like for the first time in my life, I have some hope that I'm going to start feeling better. I don't want to do this alone, though. I would love some people to do this with me. Like, does anybody else feel the same that would want to kind of want to get started with me? Because that person is not a seller of the product. So usually it really comes as a referral and that they're like, hey guys, I don't want to do this alone. And when it's a call to help or a call to action, other people in their network tend to be like, hey, I'm struggling with that too. Like it'd be fun or it'd be better to do that as a community thing. So that's kind of good for a hope post. When it's a testimony post, I would say similar to what I just told you about, as far as I had done this on one of my Fresh Start calls this week, but I was actually sharing this now that you say about sharing something. But what I was showing them was how to, we very much of what you just said, we kind of make the assumption when we tell people to share that they know how to share and they don't know how to share. So, one is the art of storytelling. The first step is to change it from I to you. So many times, that's why you saw me catch myself at the beginning when I was telling you, instead of saying, I am feeling so tired, I am feeling hopeless, have you felt this way? Where you felt like you couldn't get up, where you've sat in the shower, with water coming down and just not wanting, you just don't feel yourself. Like you start when you change it to you, that automatically shifts to them putting themselves in the story. And then the second part is you drop the point. So you just say, don't just say like, oh, it was time for a change. You explain what was that point, because we've all been through that point where we knew it was time for a change. Where it's like, the moment I couldn't get up anymore and I saw my kids playing and I was like, I don't want to be this mom. I knew something needed to change. So you describe kind of that moment that you walk them through that realization. And then you create a common enemy. For us, the villain is going to be sugar, low energy, self-doubt, depression, like whatever it is you're targeting and what your story, that enemy in your story is, you're going to create that common energy. I know that the way my lifestyle habit is, I know the self-doubt in my head is what's causing me to do this. I want to do that. And then it's a call to action. Like I want to do this together with other people that also feel this way. So you kind of do then a call to action too. And what I would say when you share your testimony is that it's okay we all have different parts of our story. And I notice that most people will share their testimony once or twice a year. It's okay to do this monthly. Like it's okay to share different parts of your story monthly because if you are doing the acts of joining new groups and creating new relationships and friend requesting new people, they're going to need to know your story. And there's different parts of your story. You could be lacking from energy, but that also maybe caused you to feel a bit depressed, or that also maybe caused you to feel like, like you weren't having the best sleep. So there's so many different parts of your story that I think that you can tell that story pretty regularly. So I would say, one, it's vulnerability. And I know that gets hard for people to tell, but when they're sharing stories, you really want to say, okay, make the person by using you instead of I describe again the symptoms that they're struggling with vulnerability. Really describe what that point was when they were like, enough is enough. Like, I really needed to start the products. And then they could go into that the hope they feel like defeating that enemy, that common enemy of energy, self-doubt, menopause, perimenopause, whatever it is that you're trying to relate to. And then a call to action of like, hey, my goal is to help other people feel better, in this way. So I think it just depends on, are they talking about their testimony or are they going to do kind of a hope post? But that's kind of how I would lead a lot is really on the struggle first and the symptom, and then either hey, I'm so hopeful and what this might do for me, or this has already done this for me, and then the call to action to join and be part of that support system for them.
That is so, 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 so good. So helpful. Does anybody else got anything? Like, you have spent so much time with this. Thank you. Like, you've gone above and beyond. I don't know about y'all, but this was so helpful. I was just texting Nicole. I was like, it's so nitty gritty. Like, it's just the stuff that's important. And I love it because the things that you've taught us tonight just makes us have stronger systems. And this makes it so duplicatable into our level twos and down because, like, it was pretty clear cut and dry. You can easily give people this sheet and be like, this is what we do. And they don't have to feel overwhelmed and things like that. So we do things like follow ups and stuff like that. But it's just like, hey, follow up with your person, check in with them. And I love that this is so specific. So it is so, so helpful. Girlfriend, you mute it. I can't hear you.
Oh, there we go. Well, I'm here anytime that you guys need, and I'm so excited to work, with all of you as you work up to gold. And if you guys need another powwow, I'm happy to be on and help you through that. And I just, what I want you guys to know is again, like we value each one of you here at Plexus. We're so grateful for you, and that you are not. I know Alicia's heart. I know that you're being led by a leader that has a heart and an intent to want to help other people and help other people's lives. And so I know that your hope and your will is to do the same. So when you lead with that, when you lead with the right intent, great things are always going to happen for you. And it may not happen in our timing. There may be ups and downs, but know that if you stay consistent and you always are leading with your heart, you're always going to see good things happen, and there's a purpose and reason for here. And just go back to again, whenever there's those low moments, go back to why am I here? I'm here. And if I touch one person's life, it was worth it. If I made one friendship, if I made one person believe in themselves that didn't before, it was worth it. God had you here for a reason, whatever that reason is. You may already know it, you may not know it yet. You might continue to bless people's lives, as I know you will. And so just hone into that even during the hard moments and know that you have a purpose here. And we're just so grateful for you. So I thank you guys for spending your evening with me too. And so sorry I had trouble jumping on at the beginning, but
No,
glad.
girl, thanks for coming on. It's the weekend. Like I said, we don't want you working on the weekend because it's your job.
Oh,
So
good.
thank you. You spent like an hour and a half with us. So thank you so, so, so much.
Of course. All right, guys, you have a blessed evening and thank you again for being
Okay.
on.
Bye,
Thank you.
girl. All right. Good
Bye.
night, you guys. So
Bye.
excited. So many things to go into February. I told you earlier, like you could just feel the energy in February. And I don't know about you, but um, that is so good. And I'll get the slides from her and all the things. But I know everyone's probably ready to go to bed because I know it's like almost 10:30 for some, but it was so good. Like she went above and beyond what I asked her to do. And I think for many of you, it's probably the first time you've gotten to experience corporate with Plexus. And they are all like this. They are all willing to go above and beyond. Like I said, like Jory's coming out to like my measly old me, March into Momentum event type stuff. Like they are just willing to go above and beyond because they have the same hearts for helping people that we do. Like she doesn't work on Sundays. It was no big. She said, I don't want to interrupt y'all's team call. I don't want them to get on a different night. I'll come on Sunday. She doesn't get paid extra for that or anything like that. Like that's just the hearts of the company that you've aligned with. And that's what makes me stay here. I love the products. I love the opportunity. I love the community and culture we build. And then you have like the cherry on top of your corporate, your headquarters, your VPs, your field development, all being the same way. Like we're just all in alignment. And that's how I know we'll just keep growing. So anyways, you guys are amazing. I'm so excited. Like I said, right after we get off here, I'll put that recording up and I'll post the link and pin it in our chat. And just, oh my gosh, so many good things. Do me a favor, go into our chat and say how amazing it was and like drop something that you absolutely loved. That way I can screenshot it and send it to her and it'll show her like some love for being on here with us tonight. So just go in there real quick before you go to bed. Just pop some things like, oh my gosh, that was so good. I loved XYZ or, whatever. You do you. But
Not on this, in our chat.
in our Silver Star chat, in
Okay.
our Silver Babe chat. That way I can just screenshot it and make her just feel a little love and like everyone loved it because we did. It was good. So,
Yeah.
okay. Good night, you guys.